our podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Zach.
I'm the other co-host, Alan.
And this time we have big news on this podcast. We have very, very big news. But before we get into this episode, go ahead, do us a favour, hit that like button if you find yourself enjoying this one. It really does help us out. We do appreciate it, and it does help to promote the podcast. Anyway, so the big news is we're now on Spotify.
Oh.
So as you can see on screen, there is a Spotify thing in the top left corner. Obviously, you can now go on to Spotify and type in "the more on hour" and it will come up. Or you can click the link in the description. Either one will do. However, what will happen is there will only ever be one episode on there, but it will update every time a new one comes out. So as of this moment, as of when this is, as you guys are listening, episode 13 is out right now, this very episode. But when episode 14 comes out, episode 13 will be removed, episode 14 will take its place on Spotify. So you guys can listen free on Spotify instead of on YouTube, so it doesn't eat your data alive. So that's the big news. And now we'll get straight on to the regular episode.
Yep.
So, the moronic or not section for this episode. And if you are new here, this is the section where we get 5 random words or short phrases from you lovely viewers and collectively decide that word or thing is moronic or not. It's in the name. That can be the concept, it can be the thing itself, it can be from one of our personal experiences. And the beauty of it is that it is entirely subjective, meaning you guys can have an entirely different opinion to us and it doesn't matter because it's subjective. So don't take it too literally. The word on the moronic or not section is cosplay.
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 God.
So what do we think?
Isn't that just dressing up and pretending to be other people?
It's dressing up to be, I think, comic book, TV, movie, any of that kind of characters or video. It's basically just being fictional characters and dressing up as them, except for adults and not children.
Oh, right.
Because when you're a kid, you call it dress up. When you're an adult, you call it cosplay.
Oh, no. My ex used to do cosplay.
Weird.
Don't know, she did, what was it, Doctor Who or something?
Oh, see, if it's kind of something, if it's something that is kind of easily passable as normal, like you're cosplaying as someone who always wears a suit or something like that, then it makes sense because you can kind of, it makes it, you look normal out on the street. But if I see someone walking down the street in an elf costume when it's the middle of July, it's a bit weird. So I'm going to say, personally, cosplay is moronic.
Moronic, yeah.
Because, I mean, I understand why. If you're going to like a convention and stuff and all the people are doing it, I don't know, like, so Comic-Con. So Comic-Con was a couple of weeks ago in San Diego this year. Obviously I didn't go to it, but I know a couple of people that went, and there was a ton of cosplayers there, as there always is when it's Comic-Con. And yeah, it was quite... Apparently there was a lot of cosplayers. So I'm going to say it's moronic.
What do they even do at Comic-Con?
I think it's just like a bunch... So like, for instance, Marvel this year announced the whole of Phase 5 and the ending of Phase 6. So basically it's just a massive way of companies telling you about what they're going to do in the next couple years, and people dress up for it. I'm definitely missing a lot of aspects about it, but
anything more to it?
I think it's just that for the most part. But yeah.
The thing is, I don't really watch, Marvel, DC, Disney. I don't really watch that kind of stuff.
I mean, yeah, like Comic-Con is I feel like it's a very American thing. Yeah. Like if it were to come to the UK, I don't think as many people from the UK would be involved, purely because I don't know, it's just not a very British thing to do.
Yeah,
The British people are quite miserable when it comes to that kind of thing.
yeah, no.
So cosplay, I'm gonna go moronic.
Yeah, I'm gonna go moronic too.
Lovely. The next, the next word is flies.
Flies.
Yep, the little annoying buggers that fly around your house during summer and make
Oh,
this
then
really
when
annoying
you
buzzing
try to
noise.
let one, it's when one comes in, you try to get it out the window, and I swear it's like trying to, you know, attract two repelling magnets together. The fly in the window, as soon as it goes near the window, it freaking flies back into the room.
No, no, no. I had so I was sitting in my living room a couple of weeks ago, right? And a
Yeah,
butterfly came in to the room because I my door was open, right?
like butterfly. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and I kid you not, it took it about solid 10, 20 minutes to get out from the massive doors because it kept flying into a window that was right next to the door. I'm
Yeah.
convinced it had brain damage.
I'd rather a butterfly than a fly because flies just make the annoying sound.
I mean, yeah, flies are very annoying. Even like, especially during summer as well, when you're just I like a couple of weeks ago. You know when it was the hottest day of the year, or ever.
Yeah.
So I had I don't know whether it was a fly or a gnat or whatever it was, but there was something in my room when I was trying to sleep, and all I could hear was the bloody buzzing. It was driving me
Yeah.
mad. In the end, I just killed it. Like
They're
whenever I see a fly now, I just kill it. They're just too
they're
annoying.
hard to do that. They move about so much.
Yeah, they are very manoeuvrable little buggers, but
Yeah.
they are annoying. I'm gonna go. I mean, the intention behind flies is good. You know, clean up the feces of the world because that is what flies actually do. If anyone doesn't know, and they feed
Yeah, but they're
frogs.
still freaking annoying.
They feed
Yeah.
frogs, which is pretty cool. I like frogs. Which actually, you know what? I'm gonna save that uh, and use that as a topic later on in this exact episode. So I'll put a time code on screen now from where you can skip to that if you want to hear more about frogs. I guess I know it's vaguely loosely based on frogs. Anyway, I'm gonna go flies moronic.
Yeah, I think so too.
Flies are
Of
very
course.
very
Yeah.
moronic. Their intentions are good, but they are idiots, and I dislike them. So the next
Yep.
word on the moronic or not section is extension leads or extension cords
Extension.
or
They
whatever
are
the
right.
hell you call them. The long white things with four plugs on it. For anyone that doesn't know, just Google it. I'm sure you'll find out what it is.
I was thinking about those extra long charges.
No, I'm talking like extension leads. So you know the white thing that you plug into the wall and then it turns it into four different
Yeah,
plugs.
yeah, them. I don't. I think I personally don't use them.
I actually use them for a lot because there's a plug socket underneath my bed, right? But I
Yeah.
can't access it very easily because it's in a really awkward spot. So
All
I use
right.
an extension lead to go from underneath my bed all the way to my bedside table, and then I use the extension
Yeah.
lead of that to then plug in my phone.
All right.
It makes it a lot easier. I actually use it as well for my laptop because there's a plug socket again underneath my desk, which is a pain in the ass to get to. So I use an extension lead to charge my phone and my laptop on one plug.
Right.
And actually,
Yeah.
extension leads are very useful if you're ever going on a holiday. So, say if you're going to a Premier Inn for whatever reason,
Right. Yeah.
maybe you're going to a football game, an away football game in I don't know Exeter or something. I don't know somewhere. Uh, a bit of advice: always bring an extension lead because there's only ever about 3 or 4 plug sockets. And obviously, if there's multiple of you sharing one room, get an extension lead because it will turn one plug into 4. And obviously, if there's 4 of them, then you can get 16. It's very useful. So if you're ever going on holiday anywhere to any country, any area, doesn't matter, bring an extension lead.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a couple years and it
I
has
personally
saved me.
don't use them. I personally don't use them, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess yeah.
I mean, you
I
can
guess.
imagine how useful they are on holidays, though, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, say if you're sharing a room with three of your mates because you're going on holiday to, I don't know, Zante or some other lad's holiday destination that I don't know about,
Yeah.
um, and then just bring an extension lead and a power adapter, and then you're sorted. You've got enough
Yeah.
charges for all of you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say not moronic for extension leads for that very reason,
Yeah. I'll go not as well.
and the fact that I use them literally daily. All right. The next one on here is stress balls.
Stress balls.
Yeah, so the
Um.
things you squeeze in your hand if
Yeah.
you're stressed.
I personally don't use them.
I don't use them.
I don't really see out that with
I mean,
you know.
I've got one. I don't use it, but I've got one. It it has been sitting on my bookshelf for, I don't know, maybe half a decade to 5 years, and I don't think I've picked it up once when I haven't thrown it against the wall.
That won't
So
um make that wouldn't eliminate stress. I just think normally when I get stressed, I just snap a pen or punch my computer. That doesn't work.
to be honest, I can actually vouch for that because I remember you snapping a pen in maths.
Maths.
Yeah, it was like year what? It would have been like year 8 or 9 maths, and you just snapped
Year
a
eight.
pen.
Year eight sounds a bit more reasonable.
Yeah, you just snapped a pen. I was
Year
like,
nine.
why have
I,
you
I
snapped a pen
wouldn't.
then?
I
And you were
wouldn't be
like, why
saying
not?
year nine.
So
No, that's mainly when I get stressed because of mechanics. When I
fair.
revise, that's the only thing I get really stressed when I revise. It's just mechanics, pure maths, fine, stats, fine. I've had my moments, but mechanics. Every time I've revised it, I always get stressed.
Fair. To be fair, I think one of the best things for stress, you're gonna call me. I mean, I know this is a 6-ish-year-old trend now, but
Yeah.
fidget spinners.
I normally just throw something at a wall.
I mean, yeah, throwing
break
something at a
computers.
wall usually helps. I like doing that one. That's probably one
Yeah.
of my favourite ones. But I actually, when I was revising for my exams, I did actually use a fidget spinner for like, I want to say like a day, but it was probably like an hour. Because time moves slower when you revise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I used one that I had from 2016 when it was actually popular. And I'm not gonna lie, they were actually very good. I missed that trend.
Fidget spinners. I like the bottle flips. They were.
Oh yeah, the bottle flips was fun. That was very fun.
Yeah. So,
I'll tell you what, I do miss the olden days. You know, like
yeah.
think about the memes we had when we were in senior school. Like we had some great memes. We had fidget spinners,
weird.
bottle flips,
Yeah.
dabbing. That wasn't that great. We had Andy's coming. Don't know if anyone remembers that one.
Oh yeah, that.
What else do we have? Plank was before our time.
Blank.
Yeah, planking. It's when
What's
you
that?
just lie like horizontally on any surface for no reason. I think it was popular in, I want to say 2008, 2009. So well before our time at senior school. But yeah, I feel like that was a weird trend. If any of our viewers partaken, I don't know. If you guys ever did planking, you're weird. But yeah. Anyway, stress balls. I'd say not moronic because I mean if they help some people, then they must be doing something right.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
just because I don't use them, I
You
actually
don't
haven't
have to
used.
freeze it.
No.
You can throw it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't have to squeeze it. You can like throw it. You can punch it. You can bite it if you really
Yeah.
fancy it. Don't know why you would, but I mean, if it helps, it helps. So, actually, that reminds me. I've got like this fidget cube thing from when they were popular. I've still got. I think one's on the under part of my desk. I'll have a look later. But yeah, it's one of those things where I haven't used it and picked it up in years, but I mean, I've got it in case I ever get that stressed.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, I'm gonna go not.
yeah, I'm gonna say not moronic for stress balls. Right. The final one on the Moronic or Not section is key rings.
Key rings. Ooh.
Yes. So the thing you put on keys.
Oh yeah, them.
For instance, on my keys, I have got a Mjolnir, which for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's Thor's hammer. From Norse mythology, Marvel, however you know it from. But I've got one of them on my keys. It was a gift from, I think, my brother, from when he went to, I want to say France, but I could be wrong. I don't know, I've had it for years, so I know that much. But yeah, it's a good keyring. I like keyrings.
I've keyring from my primary school, but that's about it. I don't really. I think I might have like an 8-ball on it or something, just like a small one.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like keyrings. It's only when people have about 1,700 of them, and their keys just make the really annoying, like they put their hand in their pocket and you can hear the keys like clank together, like. You know when people have got like 17 different key rings with only one key on the ring. It's like, what's the point? Might as well just carry around a key and one key ring.
Could be one of them old people that have about the full ring.
Oh yeah, where they have like the keys. Ring that's the size of someone's head.
It's just full with keys.
Yeah, it's got like 70 keys. It's like, what was that for? A shed I had in 1968. I haven't got it anymore. Then why'd you have the key? Don't know. Cool.
And they don't even label it.
No.
You've got to test.
Yeah, you got to test every. You know what? That reminds me. At my sixth form, right? There was this teacher. Anyone that went my sixth form will know this. I had this form tutor, right? Who coincidentally was my psychology teacher, but that's got nothing to do with the story. Anyway, we come into form, right? Well, we wouldn't, because the door was always locked. And she would spend about, like, I'd say 2 to 3 minutes going through her about six different keys, trying to figure out the right one. Wow. It was very annoying. Every morning, it would just, you'd hear her coming upstairs and go, oh, has she got the key ready? Nope, shocker. And we used to place bets on how many attempts it would get her to actually unlock the door. Yeah, the average was about 3. Yeah, on average, took her about 3 keys. But she didn't label them. So it was very, very unhelpful.
That's stupid, isn't it?
Indeed. Although it was quite amusing to see at 9 in the morning. So, yeah, I'm going to go not moronic for keyrings. Because I like keyrings.
Yeah.
I like my Mjolnir one. I've got another one on there. A couple of people know about it if they've seen my keys. But, yeah, I like keyrings. Keychains, whatever you want to call them. Keyrings. I'm going to go not moronic. So, the wrap-up of the moronic or not section, we've got cosplay, moronic, flies, moronic, extension leads or extension cords or whatever the hell you call them, not moronic, stress balls, not moronic, and key rings, not moronic. So
not moronic.
If you guys want to give your suggestions of the moronic or not section down below, you can let us know via email, Instagram, message us, leave us a YouTube comment. It doesn't really matter. Just let us know your suggestions and you'll see them in a future episode. Obviously, you'll remain anonymous unless you choose to be stated otherwise. So thank you to the viewer who sent us in those. And if you've already sent them in, you will see them in a future episode. It might not be the episode directly after, but it will be in future episodes. Anyway, moving on from the moronic or not section. And I'm going to go back a little bit to what I said earlier on the podcast about frogs.
Frogs?
Yes, frogs. So, I was chatting with a few friends a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember what led to this conversation, and it's actually quite true, right? Yeah. Apparently, everyone looks like more of a rat or more of a frog. So
what?
So picture, I don't know, who's someone that both of us will know and the viewers will know. You know what? Let's go Boris
James
Johnson.
Corden.
No, let's go Boris Johnson, right? So
Fair
picture Boris Johnson.
enough. They
Right.
both look similar anyway.
Picture his face. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think he looks more like a rat or more like a frog? I think he
Like a
looks more
rat.
like of a rat than a frog.
Um.
Personally, I think he looks like a rat more than he looks like a frog.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. A mole.
A mole?
Yeah.
No, it's rat or frog. There's no other choices, Dan.
I have the rat then.
Yeah. All right. You know what? We'll do another one. Jeremy Clarkson. Most people will know who that is, and if you don't, you're not British or you've been living under a rock. I think he looks. I think he looks more like a rat.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
So like most people will either look like a rat or a frog. There's some people which look like both, but for the most part, everyone looks like either a rat or a frog. So you know what, people? What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to send us images of famous people or people that we might know, or yourselves, either one, and I want you to tell us whether you think you or they look like a frog or a rat. Because apparently there's more frogs than there are rats. But
I'd say the rat.
I mean, well, bear in mind we only tested it with two people, Jeremy Clarkson and Boris Johnson. So we can't exactly, send that out to the general public. But I mean, I would say me or you, but obviously we're not going to show our faces on screen so people can disagree with us. But I mean, looking at myself in the mirror, I think I look more like a frog than I do a rat. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I think you look more like a frog than a rat.
Yeah, probably.
I think you've got a bit of
would
rat.
say so.
I can see like a little bit of rat, but there's more frog.
Yeah.
So, people, look at yourselves in the mirror. Are you a rat or are you a frog? Let us know. We want to know, is there more frogs or is there more rats in our viewers? That is our goal. Anyway, that's the frog bit done. So, this is a weird thing, right? Did you know that there are more toy flamingos than actual flamingos left in the world?
Really?
So, like, the toy flamingos, or like, what are they called? The flamingos that you stick out in your front lawn in American TV shows. Yeah, there's more toy flamingos than there are regular flamingos.
Oh wow.
Which actually reminds me, do you remember several years ago? This is probably, I want to say about 5 to 7 years ago now. There was a flamingo that needed to be named somewhere, and everyone dubbed it. It was, what was it named? It was named Taste Like Chicken.
What?
Like, I can guarantee you, if people Google "Tastes Like Chicken" the flamingo, it will come up. I kid you not. This is real.
That is freaking.
See, I'm curious now. Does flamingo taste like chicken? Because I mean, they're both birds, right? But like, turkey doesn't taste like chicken, and they're both birds. Like, what does flamingo taste like?
I've never had flamingo, mate.
I don't think many people have.
I was gonna say ask the French, but I doubt they've ever had flamingo.
I don't know. The French are pretty weird. They cook and eat snails.
Like snails.
Yeah, they're weird. Oh, Dan, do you remember that god awful quiche from the French trip?
Quiche?
Yeah, do you remember it? It was like it was like second or third night we had that god awful ham and cheese quiche. It was awful.
I don't remember that. I remember snails. Snails wasn't that bad.
No, snails was grim, bro. I almost threw up that day.
I thought snails was okay. I can manage like 2, but I think.
No, I put one in my mouth, and then bit into it once and almost threw up. These things are grim.
I wonder what frog legs are like.
Yeah, we never got to taste frog legs. I am quite curious.
They're probably quite nice, actually.
I mean, yeah, because surely frog legs are I mean, the thigh is the most meaty part of your body, right? Like, that's why you
Yeah.
have chicken legs. I mean, obviously, you've got chicken breast as well, which most people eat. But you also got, like, the chicken legs, the wings. But I'm guessing the legs would be quite nice. I don't know. I don't. It's one of those things where I haven't tried it. I don't know if I
I
ever
think it'll
will.
be
But
okay.
yeah, I can't imagine it being too bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Which actually,
Yeah.
that's a great segue onto my next point. If you
What
had
is
to
it?
eat one part of someone's body, what part of the
Yeah.
body would you eat? So let's say zombie apocalypse happens. You've got no more food, and you've got to eat a human body part. What body part are you eating?
In that situation, yeah. Well, if someone donated me their leg
Yeah,
for
I'd
me,
probably go for the leg or the thigh, right?
there's a
Purely
lot on there.
because
Yeah.
there's a lot on there. Yeah, like obviously
Yeah.
if you go for like the chest, there's quite a lot of bone in that.
Yeah, there
You
is.
know,
Yeah.
like I mean, I guess it's different for obviously different weight classes. So obviously people like Jake, who are slightly fatter, are gonna have more on them than people like you or
Yeah.
I, who are fairly skinny.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
I think the thigh is a good thing to go for
There's
because
still quite a lot there though.
yeah, there's quite a lot of meat on the thigh. I mean, think about it. You got chicken thighs, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you had to eat an organ, what would you do?
Organ.
So if like Gordon Ramsay prepared an organ for you, a human
Liver.
a human organ, what?
There's people that eat liver.
I mean, yeah, but like, I mean, I have eaten liver technically because obviously pate, if anyone doesn't know, is liver. It's mainly pig liver. So you can get like goose liver pate, but most pate you see in like Tesco's, Sainsbury's, whatever, is mostly pig.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go for liver, but you know, I'm not. I don't know.
I'd probably go for it. Yeah. What about heart?
I don't think I could eat a heart.
Really? What's that?
I feel like it would be very chewy.
Chewy.
Like, you know when you get like a piece of steak and it's quite chewy?
Oh, I don't
Like-
like chewy steak.
That's what I imagine a heart to be. I imagine a heart to be quite chewy. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but that just makes sense. Actually, would you eat a brain? Like Gordon
Probably not.
Ramsay
No.
prepared a brain for you.
No.
Would you eat it?
No, it's done.
I mean, I might. It depends.
I 100% wouldn't.
I mean, it depends. Like, if Gordon Ramsay prepared a brain, I'm probably gonna eat it. But
How could you prepare a brain?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried it, nor will I. But
Oh, please don't.
it's one of those things where I think a heart would be quite chewy, and I imagine a brain to be less chewy. That's a really weird thing to think about, but like, what do you think?
This is
Do you
coming
think
off
your
on a bit of a
brain would be
weird answer.
more or less chewy than a heart? I don't
Probably
know.
say it's more chewy, if I'm being honest.
I'd probably say less because obviously the heart you've got
Really?
all the arteries, you've got the veins, you've got all that. But with the brain, you just kind of got grey matter. You've got just brain. I don't know. I don't really want to eat a heart or a brain, to be honest. But
I don't even know what to say, to be honest.
no.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this topic before we get into the deep
Yeah.
dark regions of the internet and
and
then we get prosecuted for I don't know for eating human remains or something. That's weird.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I was asking, what is your Monopoly strategy?
Oh, I don't know if I can give this away to you. You know, or the viewers.
Oh,
'Cause- If anyone doesn't know me, right, I've got a lifelong streak of winning Monopoly games. Like I've never lost a game of Monopoly in my entire life.
Right, okay.
I mean, Dan, you've been there for a large amount of them.
Yeah, but our games turn into just.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, we are playing against Jake and Rob, so it's not exactly hard, but
Oh, they just don't buy. Especially Jake, he don't buy
Yeah, they
property.
just don't buy anything, and it baffles me. Like, how do you not buy properties? That's the whole point of the game. But yeah, I mean, I can give you a bit of insight into my Monopoly strategy. So basically, just buy everything you can and then trade. And
I normally just buy
like
stuff. Yeah.
don't. And most people, and like obviously, unless you land on like the Browns or something.
Why
For anyone
are
that
we
doesn't
pay?
know
Oh,
a Monopoly board, the Browns are the first two, which is Old Kent Road and what's the other one? It's Old Kent.
Whitechapel.
Oh yeah, Whitechapel Lane. Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, they are right at the start of the board. So you've got go, uh, then the two, then you've got the two Browns right there, and they're very bad. Unless you land on them, don't buy them because they're awful. Um, but my strategy is mainly just kind of buy everything you can as soon as you can, because otherwise those properties will
I think
come
that's
back
the
to
way to
bite
do
you
it.
later.
Yeah.
And also, I hate the
Yeah.
people that don't
100%.
trade in Monopoly. Like,
Oh,
say
they're
I've
idiots.
got two
Yeah.
reds and a yellow, and then they've got two
Yeah.
yellows and a red, and they
They
won't
just
trade.
don't trade.
So
Yeah. Oh,
say
that's
I want the
annoying.
reds and they want the yellows. They won't trade for it because it's not a good deal, even though it's a perfect deal because we both get a set. But yeah, I hate the people that don't trade. So if you don't trade, you're boring and you're doing it wrong. I feel like I'm going to get a bunch of offers now to try and win a game, to like a bunch of people messaging me saying like, oh, I challenge you to a game of Monopoly. If I win, blah 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 blah. Just know that you will lose. Yeah, I'm really good at Monopoly. Dan can testify. Um, Even when it's just been me and you, like Jake and Robert out at that point, and it's just been me v
Oh yeah,
you.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
always just a battle with. I mean, to be fair, usually at that point we just kind of call it a day because
This goes on forever, isn't it?
yeah, it will go on forever because we've both got a lot of money, we've both got a lot of properties, and it will go on forever. So because the money will just go back and forth between us. But
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, in previous times we've teamed up, haven't we? So you've declared bankruptcy, and I've kind of taken you on as a consultant.
Well, we've kind of broken the rules.
I
I
mean, yeah,
don't think.
that is partially
Yeah.
cheating, but at the same time, if it's to do with, like, bear in mind this is against Jake and Rob, so you know, fair. We have played Monopoly teams before, haven't we? We have done me and you versus Jake and
Have we
Rob
done
before.
this?
Yeah,
Oh
we did
yeah.
it. I mean, it was years ago now. We haven't played Monopoly in a hot minute actually. Um, Now I want to play a game of Monopoly. Look what you've done. But yeah, like
Our game
Monopoly,
lasted 2.5 hours.
I do love a bit of Monopoly. You know, board games
Yeah.
are fun.
But you need at least 3 players for it.
Yeah, for a good game of Monopoly,
Yeah.
because you can play two-player Monopoly, and I have in the past.
Just a bit
But
dull.
it gets to a point where it does get quite dull because the money is just going back and forth between you, like it does for
Yeah.
me and you. But obviously, if you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, however many players, it's a lot more fun because yes, you've got to wait longer between your turn, and it's more difficult the more players you have. But I think 4 players is a really
That's
good.
more fun. Yeah.
It's like optimum if you've got 4 players. Five is pushing it a little. Whereas like you can still play and it's still going to be fun, but you'll wait a while for your turn.
Yeah. That's the
Three,
thing,
I
yeah.
think 3 is the minimum. 4 is the optimum. Five is depending on the circumstance. So,
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
and then anything above that, I think you're waiting about 10 minutes per turn because obviously, and bear in mind the properties will be gone in about 2 turns. So I don't think I'll tell you my Monopoly strategy, but
All right.
basically just buy everything you can as soon as you can and then save them later and then trade.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And also buy houses as soon as you can. So say, I don't know, I'm going to use the Reds for example. Say I'm buying up the Reds. I've got all 3 Reds now. I've got the Strand, Fenchurch, no, not Fenchurch, Fleet Street, and I can't remember the other one. So I've got all 3 Reds, right?
Yeah.
Build as soon as you get them. Start building, even if it's just one house on each.
I do think you're getting one set, just focusing on that.
Exactly,
At a
like
time.
yeah. I mean, if you've got two sets, you can like spread it out. So
Yeah.
say I've got the reds and the greens, for instance, right? Maybe do two houses on each of the reds and then one house on each of the green, or two houses on each of the green, two on the red, whatever.
Yeah.
Like just spread it out. But I think the best way to play Monopoly is buy everything as soon as you can, but don't run yourself into the ground. So I think the best properties to buy, if you can, and or trade for, are the reds, the pinks,
Yeah,
and the light blues. Because the oranges are good, but they're in kind of no man's land. Not many people land on the oranges. The dark blues, again, are
Even
really
the
good,
blue,
but they're only really
There's
effective.
only two of them.
There's only two of them.
well.
They're right at the end of the board. And
Yeah, there's not really a point.
there's not much there. The greens, again, they're good, but they're not. Again, they're kind of in no man's lands. Most people go for the yellows. Most people, right, will go from go to the pinks, to the reds,
Yeah.
and then to the yellows, and then back to go within a few turns. You'll very rarely land on kind of the right hand side, technically, so where the greens and the blues are. So I don't really think they're worth going for. I think the yellows, the reds, and the pinks are your best ones to go for. I think.
What about light blues? I think with light blues,
See, the light blues for me have come in clutch quite a lot, but it's very dependent on how many players you have. Because if you've got 4 players, definitely go for the light blues. If you've only got 3, maybe not. It's a bit riskier. But if you've got 5, basically the more players you have, the better chance of landing on the light blues there are. But obviously the less players you have...
I do think they're quite good. Right?
The light blues have come in clutch for me more than once throughout my life. And I think... Yeah, I think the best bets, though, are the yellows, the reds, and the pinks.
Wow.
But mainly the reds and the yellows. But that's just my opinion. I'm no mathematical genius that's worked out the best way to play Monopoly or whatever. That's just what I do.
Has someone done that before?
Yes, there is a mathematical. There is the most mathematical way to play Monopoly. If you want to look at that, go on Google, go on YouTube. There's tons of videos about it. That's not what I like to do. I'm not that kind of player. I play for the enjoyment and...
Pretty fun to speculate, mate.
Yeah, it is. To be fair, do you want to know a bit of backstory behind Monopoly?
Yeah, go on.
It was actually created to show children how harsh the capitalism market is and move them towards socialism.
Really? Looked towards socialism?
It was made as a way to show children how corrupt society can be when people get a large amount of money. And so it was trying to push children into thinking more socialist. Obviously, since then, it's kind of diverted as more just a fun board game for the family. But back when it was first created, that's what it was. But actually, I've got a question for you, Dan. Have you ever gone to London and gone to all of the different Monopoly board places?
No, I've actually never been to any of them.
I several years ago now, I want to say about 6 years ago maybe, I went around London with my brother and my mum. Went around London to all the different Monopoly stops. It was in no particular order. It wasn't like I was going around the board. I was just kind of whichever one's closest to the next. So I went to all of them on the English Monopoly board. So I went to Fenchurch Street, Marylebone, Vine Street. I went to the stations. Wow. The only ones I couldn't do were Chance and Community Chest and Go.
Yeah.
And free. Although we did go to free parking, we went to somewhere where it had a free parking
in
sign,
London. Yeah.
which I don't think exists anymore. And then we did actually go to what was once a jail. It's not anymore, because obviously
Where's that?
London's updated since then. But yeah, I mean, we did also go to Tower of London, which is technically a prison, or was at one point in its time. But yeah.
I'm just looking at the Mayfair hotels now.
Oh yeah, I've been to Mayfair. It's a very nice area. It's a very, very nice area. Full of many, many rich people, and lots of sports cars. Interestingly.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the buildings. Some of them look nice. Some of them are a bit,
Scuffed.
quite questionable. But
Yeah.
the interiors look really nice.
I mean, it does explain why it is the most what's it called? It is the most expensive thing on the Monopoly board
Yeah, true.
compared to what's it called? What's the cheapest one?
It's like Whitechapel,
No, it's not
Oh,
Whitechapel. It's the other one.
Old Kent Road.
Old Kent. Yeah, that's it. Old Kent. When I went there, was a hole.
A hole.
It's not great. It's not a great place.
Like Morecambe. Yeah.
It's better than Morecambe though. Nothing can compare to Morecambe. Again, if any of you don't know, go back and watch the previous episodes of the podcast. Yeah, it's not great. Morecambe's not a nice place. But yeah, London, when I went around the Monopoly board, was quite fun. I did thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah, Monopoly board. I'll tell you what, Dan. Next time we see each other, we will play a game of Monopoly.
You gotta get Jake and Rob.
I mean, yeah, we've got to get Jake and Rob on. We've got to. To be fair, I've actually been having this debate recently, right?
Yeah.
Do I buy the Monopoly Plus game on Xbox?
Do you know?
Because on one hand, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Because obviously we could play Monopoly virtually. We don't have to always be in person for it.
Yeah, true.
But it does cost like 25 quid each, I think. For a game we'd play maybe once or twice a year. So...
Yeah, I don't know if that'd be worth it or not.
Yeah.
And you gotta get everyone on.
Exactly, yeah. You've got to find a time when everyone's
Yeah.
on and all that. So, I don't know. We'll discuss that at a later date. But actually, speaking of the Monopoly board, you know how it's very colourful?
Yeah, I do like that. That is funny.
I do like that it's very colourful. So we've got the browns, the light blues, the pinks, the oranges, the reds, the yellows, the greens, the dark blues. But did you know that some people have numbers that correlate to colours?
Really?
So it's called synesthesia. I can't say it. Synesthesia. Right?
Yeah.
Where certain numbers will correlate. No. Correlate to certain colours. So, for instance, I don't know, 2 would be yellow, 4 would be, I don't know, lime green or something, 8 is purple, etc., etc.
Oh, right.
Like, I mean, I have that to an extent, but that's only because of a video game I play, and certain numbers do equal certain colours. So, for like colour regions on creatures. So in Ark, you've got specific colour regions for certain creatures. So, and you've got a list of them. And obviously certain colours have different numbers. So 1 is red, 2 is blue, 3 is yellow, 4 is lime green, 5 is cyan, 6 is magenta, stuff like that. So that's the only reason in my mind what happens in that context. But like some people have it just in like everyday life. So like you could just say 7 and someone would think of a colour. So like, so for instance, if I say the number 27, what colour do you think of?
Yellow.
See? 38.
Green.
2.
Blue.
327.
Purple.
See? It's just random. I
It
mean,
is random. I don't think it has any correlation whatsoever.
no, I don't think it affects him in any way or form, but I don't know. I found out about it fairly recently because one of my friends. What is it again? I think his friend's mum has it, or his friend aunt, or something. Um, but yeah,
The friend's
something like that. It's like my friend's mate or my friend. No, my friend's mum or my friend's aunt has it.
your
Um,
friend's aunt,
I don't
mum's
know.
dog,
Yeah,
stepsister's adopted
yeah,
uncle,
yeah. My friend's
cat
dog's mum's aunt,
owner.
nan owners, cats, dogs, neighbours, friends of a friend lives in Australia, twice removed. Aunt neighbour's dog, Ebola virus.
Of a friend
Said
who
that
lives in
Ebola is
fucking
great.
Libya.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my mate's mum or aunt has it, and it's really weird because. So I was saying, I can't even remember what the context was, but I was doing something, and his mum just. I was talking to him on the mic actually, and I was like, no, like, because we were doing some puzzle thing. I was like, no, 7 goes there, and his mum was like, what? But that's not purple though. Just in the background. I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah,
But yeah, turns out she got synesthesia, so I hope he doesn't mind me saying that, but, you know, I've left him anonymous, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I find that really weird though.
yeah,
The fact that certain people correlate. I can't say it. Correlate. I can't say that word. Because I keep thinking correlate and colours. I keep trying to merge it into one word. But yeah, I find it weird how some people correlate certain numbers to colours. It's weird.
yeah.
Like, my mind does it only in a certain context, though. Like, if I'm playing Ark and those colours, and I'm doing stuff with those colours, I need to know what colour it is. But obviously, that's only in a certain circumstance. If you came up to me and said, what colour is red? Well, no. What number
What
is
colour
red?
is red?
Yeah, what colour's red? What number is red? I wouldn't be like, I don't know, 1. I don't know, I wouldn't have a number for you. I'd be like, what the fuck? But, yeah.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It is really... I don't know. Now that I think about it, would you ever correlate a number to a colour?
I don't know, what I'm thinking is if you asked someone 10 numbers and they gave you a colour, and then if you asked the same question after, let's say, after about a day, would they still give you the same answers?
I mean, most likely, right? Like, I don't think it changes short term. I think it's more of like a... I mean, apparently some colours change. So apparently 7 is one that changes quite a bit, but it's often grey.
7 to me is probably purple.
But
subjective, but I just think it's
yeah, I mean, it is entirely subjective, but like, surely a number can't change a colour. So like, if I said 7, apparently that's one that's often grey but sometimes can change. What does that mean?
Yeah,
like,
it is a bit strange.
Yeah, if I was saying, oh, I'm gonna paint the room grey, and you're thinking the number 7, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit strange how we got from Monopoly to that.
You know what? Going back to Monopoly then.
Yes.
You know, obviously with Monopoly you play with 2 dice, right? Or 2 die,
Yeah,
however, whatever it is. It's 2 dice. Right. Did you know that 7 is the most common number to roll on said 2 dice?
Well, I guess rolling. I mean, double ones is pretty hard because if you roll 2, it's only 1 and 1.
Yeah.
2. Oh no, so I just do 2. 3. 2, 1. 1, 2. 7.
But
4,
yeah,
3,
so like
3,
it's
4.
like genuinely
I
7.
thought it would be something else.
7 is the most common dice roll with 2 dice, and you can try it for yourselves. Like, I did this a while ago, and don't do it because it's a waste of time. Just get 2 dice, roll them X amount of times.
4, 3, 5, 2, 6, 1.
Dan's doing the maths behind it, but all I know is that 7 is
adaptation.
the most common dice roll. And actually, I learnt this last night in a film, or from a film. No, it wasn't a film. It was something to do with Gordon Ramsay, right? And he was in Vegas. Where I can't remember the name of the game, right? But if you roll a 7, you're out. But you play with 2 dice, and that's the most common roll. So I find it interesting that the more times you roll, the more chance you have to get out. Yes, probability has no memory, but 7 is the most common dice roll, so you're more likely to roll it, right?
Yeah, what was the game?
I can't remember the name of it, but you see Tony Stark play it in Iron Man 1. I know that much.
I've not seen Iron Man.
Yeah, no. If anyone knows the name of the game I'm talking about, where you just roll a dice and if you get a 7, you're out. If you know the name of the game, let us know, because it's gonna bug me. I might chuck a name of it on screen now if I can find it. If not, then obviously you won't see it. For any of our listening viewers, we'll most likely shout out in a future podcast. So we'll not shout it out. That sounds bad. Sounds like we're gambling addicts, but we'll mention it in a future episode, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's just for our listening viewers, and not our visual viewers from YouTube. So if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to see more like this, you can go ahead and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.